You own a small business because you are willing to take the bet on yourself that you're smart enough and a hard enough worker that you can make this thing work by yourself. Good morning, Mr. Premier. My name is Devin Sherrington. I own 360 Fit in Burnside. Before the pandemic, to give you a little bit of background, I had 3 different locations. I had one in East Hants, one in Halifax, and one in Burnside. I had 23 staff. I now have one location, which is closed. It's in Burnside. I have 9 staff. So things have changed a lot for me, and this is my open letter to you. I'm not going to get aggressive and angry and yell and holler. I think that is counterproductive to what we're trying to do here. But I did want to give you some ideas about what the business community is dealing with, why the business community is stressed out, and maybe simple or some ways to fix the problem, to maybe make it a little easier on you. Now look, I understand you have a hard job. It is not easy being the premier, especially during a pandemic. I understand you chose to do that. I get it. But I do understand that this is not an easy situation to work ourselves through. So I'm not going to come down on you and yell and holler or try to shame you into anything. But I do want to talk a little bit about where small business is right now in Nova Scotia, how we feel, what we're doing, and how maybe we can solve some of these problems. Now, number one, let's be clear: small business is drowning in Nova Scotia. It's nice to have the $5,000 grant. Appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. But I've been closed. I will be closed for close to 2 months if we're lucky enough that we open on June 9th. My rent is $10,000 a month. It's not counting leaseholds. It's not counting power, heat. It's not counting internet. It is not counting anything else. That's just rent. I got to tell you, $5,000 pays for half of my rent. Now, there is a new program. I haven't, gotten any money from that yet. But even that, even if it paid for 1 month of my rent, I'm still been closed for close to 2 months. So I'm still in the hole. A bar just came out, I believe it was the Old Triangle just came out the other day and said they're down $75,000 since this pandemic started. I'm not going to get into specifics about how much I'm down, but I can tell you this: my business is down more than 45% month in and month out since this thing started. And that's not counting the latest shutdown. That's just up to that point. So you know what? No one is flush. I went from 3 locations to 1 location. I went from 23 staff to 9 staff. So you know what? It's not a fun time. It's very stressful. And one of the reasons it is so stressful is the fact that we don't have a clear-cut picture of what we're doing or where we're going. So we have, in my case, this doesn't really matter as much, but it does infuriate me to look at big box stores being open, selling non-essential things. And I understand it's very hard to police that. I get it. But what the optics of it are terrible. When you say, oh, well, Walmart, Costco, you guys can sell what you want, it's all good in the hood, and then you say to small businesses, you're closed, you know what, it's creating a really unfair playing field. It puts us in a position where we're being discriminated against because we're here to do our part, but Costco and etc., they don't have to do their part, they can do what they want. And it puts us in a position where we're like the dive shop in the valley, are saying, what the hell am I supposed to do here? Either I'm going to close here, because I don't have the money and I'm just not making enough money, or I risk a fine to be open in hopes of making some money. That's an unenviable position for people to be in. And a lot of us are in that position now. We're sitting here going, I can't make any money. If I don't make money, I'm in serious trouble. So what do? Do I flaunt the public health code rules out there? I'm trying to be a good citizen, but if I am a good citizen, I may lose my business completely and a whole bunch of people will go out of work. And let's be clear, 75% or 70% or so of all Nova Scotians work for small business. That's a lot. And we're all in the same boat. We're all riding along here in the same boat. We're all very frustrated. We're all sitting here saying, wait a second, I'm home doing my part. My business is closed. I'm not allowed to be open. But other places are allowed to be open. They're selling things that in some cases businesses are also selling. Curbside pickup is just not fit the bill for everybody. And I'm not saying that I don't believe in COVID. Let's be clear. I'm not going to be one of those guys who say, I don't believe in doing my part and open everything up. That's not who I am. I want to do my part. But what we have right now is an unfair playing field where the big box stores are allowed to operate as they see fit. and the small businesses are being discriminated against. And that's not reasonable. This is not capitalism. We live in a capitalistic society. That's what we live in. So where does that leave us? I get the people that are, trying to skim their way through and skirt the rules. Because all we hear from you and from Dr. Strang is, well, we're right at the end of the marathon. The last part of the marathon is the hardest part. Respectfully, sir, I don't think you understand. I don't think you get where you were coming from. I understand you're under a lot of stress. I get it. I get it. But you know what? I would hazard a guess that my stress is higher than yours. And the reason my stress is higher than yours is because I have to worry about, how do I stay open? Am I able to feed my family? Am I able to keep my business after this is over? Now, there's people out there that will say, well, small business, they are just looking for a handout. No, I'm not looking for a handout. You don't get into business and you don't own a small business if you want handouts. You own a small business because you are willing to take the bet on yourself that you're smart enough and a hard enough worker that you can make this thing work by yourself. That's what we do. So we're not looking for handouts. We're not looking for freebies, but we would like a fair playing field. And we don't like the fact that right now there isn't a fair playing field with the big box stores. They're allowed to be open. Now, the other thing that is very frustrating for us is that you're giving us little teasers. You're saying, okay, well, don't worry, come Friday, I'm going to tell you what our reopening may look like. All right. There's I think 5 or 6 provinces already have reopening plans out there. They have way higher numbers than we do. So to say, we haven't had the time to concentrate on it, that's not true. And even if it was true, you know what? They have been able in other provinces to do different things. Ontario's got one, Manitoba's got one, Alberta's got one, BC's got one. I think there's other ones that have it as well. Why are they ahead of us? Teasing it and saying, come Friday, I'll tell you a little bit. You know what, sir, frankly, I'm 47 years old. I'm an adult. Most of us are adults. If we own a business, we're an adult. We're old enough to know what the rules are going to be. I mean, really, come out and tell us. Don't treat us like children. Say to us, listen, we need to get to 400 cases, active cases, and then we're going to let you open. And this is what it will look like. Or we're going to get to 200, or whatever it happens to be. But to say, I'm going to tease you with it, I'm going to give you an idea, maybe come Friday, I'll let you know a little bit. You know what? It's treating us like we're kids, like we're not old enough to understand and we're not old enough to get that. And that's not fair. It's not reasonable. And you know what? It makes us feel bad, which makes people angry. I don't know who it is that's handling you or if this is your idea, but it's not working. It's not helpful. It's not doing anything good. What it is doing is putting you in a position where you seem like you're our daddy. Except you're not my daddy. You're 10 years younger than I am. And it's not saying that I know better than you do. I don't. I have no idea what your job entails, but I can tell you from a business perspective, we need to have some clue of how the hell we do get reopened. Now, when we do reopen, I can give you some real simple reopening tips that would make everybody out there happy. Boost up your public rating. Everybody would like you a lot more. Number 1, just give us the damn plan. Tell us what it's going to be. Let us know what it is, because you know what? If you let us know what it is, we can get on board and we can work toward it. But if we just are working towards some ethereal thing that's out there, maybe, perhaps, if you're lucky, we'll let you know. But when you're a good boy, no one gets on board with that. People get angry about it. Number 2, when this happens, when you have an opening, the big box stores should go to curbside pickup only. Now, I get it. You're going to say, well, but what about the jobs and you're hurting the big box stores? You know what? We've all been out of work already. The big box stores have made an absolute killing on the fact that they've been allowed to be open. We haven't been. And they're exporting all of their money out of Nova Scotia, just dumping it out the door, which means that's bad. That's actually very, very bad for Nova Scotia. It's very bad for small business. It's very bad, period. They also pay small wages. They pay in the bottom of the barrel. You know what? Tell them, you guys have made enough money. You've made lots of money in the last 6-7 weeks. You guys have to go to curbside pickup for the same amount of time that we were forced to close. I'm not saying you guys have to close, but you have to go to curbside pickup, and you can't lay off any of your staff, and you can't cut hours. Walmart's still going to make money with curbside pickup. Costco's still going to make money with curbside pickup. You know what? All we're doing now is evening the playing field a little bit. Let's even that thing out. Let's make it fair for people. Mr. Rankin, respectfully, we can do better in Nova Scotia than we've done. And I think we can go in a good direction and actually do well with this. Like our numbers are actually very low. I know we've had a bit of a spike, but you know what? In comparison to everywhere else in the country, we're doing well. We've done really well. So let's not keep all the information to ourselves. Let's stop treating our clients. Let's stop treating our constituents. Let's stop treating the population. Let's stop treating the business owners like children. Let's even the playing field when we reopen. Let's come up with a damn reopening plan and get going. Enough with dragging the feet. Enough with saying, here, teasing pictures on Instagram. Here I am with Dr. Strang talking about reopening. I don't care. I get it. You're playing the Trump handbook, which is tease. We'll see what's going to happen. Maybe it'll happen. Maybe it won't. I don't know. Tune in tomorrow. Tune in Friday. You know what? I get it. It's a big ego stroke. It would be hard to be on TV and have people cheer and scream and just want to listen to you all day. I'm sure it would do weird things to my ego too. I'm sure it's done weird things to your ego and to Dr. Strang's ego. But it's time to stop looking at it that way. It's time to start looking at it of how we can serve, Nova Scotians, how we can even the playing field for small businesses, how we can make sure that this thing doesn't mean that small businesses go under en masse in Nova Scotia, and we have a huge unemployment boom suddenly that we don't need. Mr. Rankin, you can do better. Listen, if I'm a personal trainer that owns a gym and I can come up with some simple solutions to fix this problem and get it going again, look, we all know what you're going to do. Everybody already knows it. You're going to probably 25% opening in a scaled approach, just like all the other provinces have done. Well, what are we waiting on? Why are we waiting? Get to the point. Cut to the chase. Let's go. Mr. Rankin, you can do better than this. I understand you're new. I get it. I understand it's a hard job. Get that too. But I also understand that this is doable. You can do it, so hurry up and get it done, sir. It's time. It is high time you gave us a roadmap. Stop dragging your feet. If Dr. Strang's the one dragging his feet, it's time to get off the pot there too. He's not an elected official. It's not his call. It's time to move forward and figure out where we're going to go. Tell us where we need to get. Tell us what the numbers need to be. We all can work toward it. Give us a carrot, sir. It would help your popularity. It would help everybody out there. Hope everybody else is having a safe day. Be careful. Go get your vaccination and don't fight the odds.